May 7th, 1927. That date may not ring a bell with you, but for SFO, it's a pretty big deal. That's really where the story of our airport begins. It's when SFO was commissioned. Now, on our 90th anniversary, we'll take a look back at the history of our airport. I'm Doug Yakel, and this is Inside SFO. To find out more, we met with John Hill, who leads the team at SFO's Aviation Museum and Library. 90 years is a lot of time to cover in a couple of minutes, so we asked John to pick out 3 periods that were pivotal in the history of SFO.
Municipal airports were few and far between in the 1920s. The airplane, of course, had sort of proved itself during World War I. And now in peacetime, airmail was a big driver in establishing airports. So Boeing Air Transport was getting ready to fly the mail into San Francisco, and San Francisco figured they better have an airport ready for the mail to come in. And this location was thought to be the best possible location, even though it was about 10, 12 miles out of town. In the 1920s, there wasn't much out here except pasture land. There was a dirt road coming down one side of the property here, but all around this area was dotted with haystacks and cattle. Ogden Livingston Mills said, okay, I will lease you 150 acres of cow pasture for your flying machines. May of 1927 is a very significant month in aviation history. Not only did San Francisco dedicate its municipal airport on the 7th, but 2 weeks later, a little-known pilot named Charles Lindbergh shocked the world when he flew solo from New York to Paris. All of a sudden, the whole world started to think about aviation in a different way, and everything changed. So we could say that, San Francisco was just slightly ahead of the curve.
Still, SFO wasn't much at the time.
The San Francisco airport that I came into, that was the mud hole.
I know I was very disappointed because I kind of thought San Francisco should be a big place,
Business was tough. Really, the only business was pilot training schools.
But the situation at SFO was about to improve.
Decade turned to 1930, so the city negotiated the purchase of the 150 acres, plus an additional 1,000 acres, but now they own the property, so they are more able to invest real capital in it. That also precipitated a name change. Mills Field Municipal Airport of San Francisco, it was too big to even fit on the building, was changed officially to San Francisco Airport. By the mid-1930s, the airline business is here to stay, and things started to roll. And the city dedicated its new terminal building, which is a lovely Spanish Mediterranean style.
The terminal was to the left. There was a small open space, and to the right were 3 hangars down the line parallel to the old highway.
San Francisco was quite well positioned by the mid-1930s and really took its rightful place by 1937 with the opening of this really terrific new facility. In the 1950s, the technology had been advanced so much through the war efforts that these airplanes now had real long-range capability. The industry was starting to attract a new traveler, and with the air tours came tremendous numbers. And SFO had to step up and anticipate and prepare for the next phase in commercial aviation. They started planning a whole new terminal structure in anticipation of the coming jet age. And the center of the airport started shifting to the south. So in August of 1954, the new terminal was ready. This was a magnificent multi-story building, very contemporary and modern. There was a celebration for the community to come out and celebrate and experience their new airport. Hundreds of thousands of people turned out for this event, and it was a magnificent 3-day festival celebrating San Francisco's new airport. In the 1990s, SFO had really established itself as the gateway to the Pacific. San Francisco found itself really well positioned for an additional increase in the international market share. So the international terminal development was multifaceted. The grand main hall created sort of a signature building, but it also gave us an opportunity to forge a link with our own past by recreating the look and feel of the original 1937 passenger lobby. So it's an adaptation of that era, and it sort of evokes, that history within this brand new, very modern terminal complex. So I think on SFO's 90th anniversary, we can look back at 90 years of success and look forward to 90 more years of the same.
That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next edition of Inside SFO.